You're always the one who cares more. I'm sitting here at 1:47 a.m. staring at my phone, and there's this text I wrote 3 hours ago that I still haven't sent. It's not even important. It's just, hey, how was your day? But I keep thinking, what if she thinks I'm needy? What if she's tired of me always being the one to reach out first? You know? Honestly, I think I've been the person who cares more in every relationship I've ever had. Friendship, romantic, whatever. I'm always the one double texting, always the one suggesting we hang out, always the one who remembers that thing you mentioned 3 weeks ago about your mom's doctor appointment. And maybe it's just me, but sometimes it feels exhausting being the one who gives a shit. Like last month, my friend Derek got promoted at work. Huge deal for him. I remembered the exact date of his interview, texted him good luck that morning, called him that evening to see how it went. When he got the job, I was probably more excited than he was. I mean, I literally bought champagne and showed up at his apartment because I thought we should celebrate. 2 weeks later, I got offered that freelance contract I'd been working toward for months. Posted about it, texted a few people, waited for Derek to say something. Nothing. Not even a like on the post. And I know it sounds petty. I know it sounds like I'm keeping score, but it hurts when you realize that the energy you put into caring about people doesn't always come back to you. Maybe it's just me, but I notice everything. I notice when someone stops asking how I'm doing. I notice when the conversations become one-sided. I notice when I'm always the one initiating plans. And the worst part is, I can't seem to stop caring. Like, I've tried being more casual, tried matching other people's energy, tried not being the first one to text. But then I'll remember that Sarah mentioned she had a job interview, or that Mike was stressed about his dad's surgery, and I can't help myself. I have to check in. I have to care. It's like I'm wired differently than everyone else. Honestly, sometimes I wonder if there's something wrong with me. Like, why do I remember everyone's birthdays when they forget mine? Why do I keep track of the things that matter to the people I love when they can't remember what I told them last week? My ex-girlfriend used to say I was too much. She'd roll her eyes when I'd ask about her presentation at work, or when I'd bring her coffee on the mornings she had early meetings. She said it felt like pressure, like I was keeping track of all the ways she wasn't matching my level of investment. And maybe she was right. Maybe I was keeping track, not consciously. But when someone you care about consistently shows you that they don't think about you the way you think about them, it's hard not to notice. You know what's funny? I'll spend 20 minutes writing the perfect birthday message for someone who sent me HBD on mine. I'll remember that they hate olives and order pizza accordingly, while they forget that I'm allergic to shellfish and suggest that seafood place for the 3rd time this year. I'll check in when they're going through a hard time, but when I'm struggling, my phone stays pretty quiet. Maybe it's just me, but I think some people are just natural givers and some people are natural takers, and the givers always end up feeling a little bit emptier. Like, I have this friend Emma, great person, really, but every conversation we have is about her life, her problems, her drama, and I don't mind listening. I actually like being someone people can talk to. But sometimes I'll hang up the phone after an hour-long conversation about her relationship issues and realize she never asked how I was doing. Not once. And I could bring it up. I could say something like, hey, it would be nice if you asked about my life too. But then I feel selfish. Then I feel like I'm the one making it weird. So I don't say anything. I just continue being the friend who listens, who remembers, who cares. Honestly. The loneliest I've ever felt was sitting in a room full of people who I'd bent over backward for, realizing that if I disappeared tomorrow, most of them wouldn't notice for weeks. Not because they're bad people. They're not. They just operate differently. They assume that if something important was happening in my life, I'd tell them. But here's the thing, I do tell them. I mention things, I share updates, but they don't stick. They don't file it away in the part of their brain that keeps track of people they care about. Meanwhile, I've got a mental Rolodex of everyone's important dates, their fears, their dreams, their coffee orders, their weird food preferences. And I used to think this made me a good friend. Now, I'm starting to think it just makes me tired. You know what happened last weekend? I was supposed to hang out with this group I've known for 2 years. We had plans for Saturday afternoon. Friday night, one of them texts the group, "Hey, can we push this to Sunday? Something came up." Everyone else immediately responds, "Sure, no problem, totally fine. Sunday works." I stared at that text for 10 minutes because something came up for me too, something important. But I didn't say anything because I knew if I was the one to complicate the rescheduling, I'd be the difficult one. So Sunday comes and 3 people don't show up. No explanation, no apology, just didn't show up. And I'm sitting there with the 2 people who did come, making excuses for the others, saying things like, "Oh, they're probably just busy." When really I'm thinking, would they do this if they actually cared about seeing me? Maybe it's just me, but I think when someone matters to you, you make an effort. You remember the things they tell you. You check in when they're going through stuff. You show up when you say you will. And when that effort isn't reciprocated, it doesn't mean the other person is terrible. It just means you care more. And that's okay, I guess. But it's also exhausting, honestly. I've started pulling back a little. Not in a dramatic way, not in a "I'm never speaking to any of you again" way, but just matching energy. If someone takes 3 days to respond to my text, I wait 3 days to respond to theirs. If someone cancels plans last minute, I remember that the next time they want to make plans. It feels weird. It feels like I'm playing games. But maybe it's not playing games. Maybe it's just protecting myself. Because here's what I've learned. Some people will take as much as you're willing to give, and they won't think twice about it. Not because they're selfish, but because they've never had to think about it. They've always been the person who gets cared for, not the person who does the caring. And maybe that's fine. Maybe the world needs both kinds of people. But if you're like me, if you're always the one who cares more, if you're always the one reaching out, remembering, checking in, making an effort, it's okay to take a step back sometimes. It's okay to let other people be the one who calls first. It's okay to see what happens when you're not the one holding the relationship together. And if it falls apart, well, maybe it was never as strong as you thought it was. Or maybe those people just needed to learn how to care the way you've always cared. Either way, it's not your job to be everyone's memory, everyone's conscience, everyone's reminder that relationships take effort from both sides. Maybe it's just me, but I think caring too much is better than caring too little. Even when it hurts, even when it's not reciprocated, even when it makes you feel like you're the only one who gives a damn. Because the world needs people like us. People who remember birthdays, who check in during hard times, who show up when they say they will. We just need to remember to save some of that care for ourselves too. And maybe we need to find other people who care the way we care. People who will remember the things we tell them, who will check in when we're struggling, who will show up because they said they would. Those people exist. I have to believe they exist. And when we find them, when we find the people who match our energy, who care as much as we care, it won't feel exhausting anymore. It'll just feel right. Until then, I'm still here. Still caring too much, right? Still remembering everything. Still being the one who reaches out first. And maybe that's okay. Maybe that's just who I am. The person who cares more,